Good morning, everybody. So I was actually hoping the next video I put out would have been not just me, but little baby Jason, but he is not here yet, which is actually really good news. So if you haven't been following this channel or you're new, welcome. But pretty much at 34 weeks, I started to have some complications, and so then my OB pretty much straight up told me, which I love him to death for it because I would rather know. He's like, your baby's not going to make it to term, and your baby, with the symptoms you're having right now, your baby will probably be in the NICU. You're going to have your baby early. So I was like, well, shit. So he pretty much, after that appointment, he said, go home, pack your bag, and you're now on bed rest. So I'm like, well, shit. So we were expecting, actually, and we did have a little bit of a labor scare after that. We were expecting to have him early, or at least at 36 weeks. And since today I am officially 38 weeks, I am considered full term, and my baby will not have to spend time in the NICU unless something obviously is wrong after he is born. But that's just super exciting for me because that was a huge leap that we made. Even though I want to see my baby and I want to see my baby now, hitting that 38 week mark was like exhilarating, to say the least. I mean, like, it was so exciting. But this week has been so nerve-wracking, this last week, so I'm going to explain to you exactly what happened in this last week. So compared to my last OB appointment, my doctor, because I had actually made it farther than what he anticipated, he's like, I want to do another ultrasound just to kind of like verify baby's height and weight, and because we know you could pretty much give birth at any time, because I've been dilated at a 3 for about a month now, and I've been effaced anywhere from 60 to 75% for that same month. So they're like, you're just gonna go whenever, and you're gonna probably go pretty fast. So he's like, I want to do another ultrasound and just kind of, get a general, kind of thing. So at this appointment this week for the OB, I had another ultrasound. My OB, unfortunately, was not there at the office because he was called out for an emergency surgery. So he was not there, but I still had my ultrasound done by the ultrasound technician. So we did that, and the ultrasound technician actually noticed something she did not like. She told the nurses, obviously, and so the nurses told me, and I could kind of tell that there was something because she was focusing a lot on one specific area on the ultrasound. So, sorry, it's kind of early. So I was like, and this ultrasound wasn't like as happy-go-lucky, as usually most of mine have been. So the nurse told me that they believed his head and his body were not progressing at the same rate. His head was a lot bigger than his body, which could mean a couple different things. It could mean he just has a big head, which I talked to my mother-in-law, and she said that my husband had a big head, and he also had a cone head. Or it could mean a couple different things, such as blood flow to the body is not correct through the umbilical cord, or he has more fluid on his brain than he needs to. There's a couple things that it could be. It's probably just he has a big head, but there's also a couple things it could be. So she's like, I want the doctor to see these, and we want you to come back tomorrow. So I went back the next day for an appointment. We did a non-stress test, passed perfectly fine. That's pretty much where they just hook you up to the monitor, and they just monitor you for about 20 minutes to make sure that he's moving and that his heart rate is, doing good. So we passed that perfectly fine. And then he looked at the results of the ultrasound because they print out all the measurements. And he told me that his head was measuring 2 weeks ahead of his body. So I'm like, oh shit, is this baby going to be so big that I can't deliver vaginally? And he said no. He's like, the baby's not that big. And I was like, okay, phew. You know, like, I want to try to be able to give birth vaginally, but of course, in the end, if I have to get a C-section to save my child's life, then I'm going to get a C-section to save my child's life. So he called up to the hospital where there's a specialist who actually deals with like blood flow and all this other intracranial gookity gook. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. He called up there and talked to her, and he suggested that I go and get an in-depth, pretty much blood flow ultrasound, which is more than his machine can do because he has his own private office. So it's only like him in the office. So he's like, what are you doing today? And I said nothing because I was put on bed rest, which I'm not on bed rest anymore once I hit 36 weeks. I'm more on just like, you know, like keep it cool rest, which I totally understand. If I don't understand how women like could work up to the second they gave birth, because it would be so exhausting for me if I worked full time. But also anyways. So I went up to the hospital. We did the ultrasound, and it ended up everything being perfectly okay. And the blood flow in the cord and throughout him was really good. The lungs were really good. The heart was beating really well. His head is just bigger. And for the like a day and a half-ish, I was really freaking out, and I was really psyching myself out, saying there could be something wrong with my child that required him to have a shunt. Or did I say shunt? Yeah, shunts, that's the right word, I think. Or, you know, and I could be forced to have a C-section, which, I mean, I would do any day for my child, but I would rather not. But everything ended up being perfectly okay. You know, I got to see my baby again, and my doctor is joking. He's like, I hope I don't have to see you next week because that would be the next appointment. One thing that kind of sucked is because of this, not scare, I guess, because of this concern, we had to push off my induction. We were going to get induced on the 1st, and we were going to set up that date, and he was going to set up that date at this last appointment for all of that. Because I have been dilated for so long, he believes that my body's going to need help dilating farther, just because it should have done that. I've been stuck at 375, so 3 centimeter and 75% effaced for the last month. Now I have been on bed rest, and that's, you know, probably part of it. But I should have dilated at least a little bit more, especially being this far into my pregnancy, and I have not. So he believes that I'm going to need help dilating more, and I will probably need my water broken at the hospital. So he was going to set an induction date. We were going to set it, but because of this worry and needing to go see the specialist, we had to kind of put everything on the back burner. So hopefully I don't need my next appointment, but we'll definitely set that next time if I make it that far. But yeah, this week has kind of just been up in arms. It's been a very stressful week, just in general, waiting and then having to do that. But I'm telling you guys this story for all you other mamas out there who are having to wait for test results or having to wait for anything because there's a possible concern with your unborn child. I hope there is nothing wrong with your child, and that your OB is just being very, very thorough like mine is. I love my OB for that. He's also very get her done, let's get this done kind of thing. He has sent me up to triage to get monitored before, just because he didn't like what he saw. But I hope and pray that all of you mamas who are waiting for test results, they all come back whatever they need to come back as. But just to let you know that it can be scary as fuck, because I psyched myself out so bad waiting to come back the next day. Hi, Anna. And I scared myself more waiting than actually with the test results. And what what would I have done even if these test results did come back to where there was something wrong. But anyways, that's all I have. I am officially 38 weeks. We are just waiting for this baby to come out. I have not lost my mucus plug. I have not had my bloody show. My water has not broken. The only signs I have are being dilated, and I've had some weird cramps. Usually they go away after I go to bed and wake up. They're usually gone, but they're not gone today. They're still here. They're still just kind of chilling there, but yeah. So if you guys want to leave your stories, or if you guys are waiting for test results or anything, leave those down below. I am here. If you guys want to talk about anything, you can, of course, comment down below, start a conversation. This isn't something that you should be scared or worried about talking about, because it affects everybody. I mean, I was worried my child would have intracranial pressure and would have to get a shunt put in, and it ended up not being that. So I hope that's what your guys' are. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully we will be introducing baby Jason in the next video. If not, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but hopefully we get to see him soon, because this would be perfect timing as well. So, all right, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.